Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge they don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like, wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire. This sun is booming down here. Also known as Your Law Intellect. Welcome, welcome. If you have not been here before, we want to welcome you to the channel. We welcome you once, we welcome you twice. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And so today I was on real late last night and I had a hearing early this morning. And as I was waiting for my turn so that I can argue my points, I noticed that a lawsuit was filed, and this lawsuit was filed by Meg Thee Stallion against Milagro Gramz. Many of you guys know that back about a year ago, I covered the Tory Lanez trial. And honestly, I didn't know who Tory Lanez was because I'm kind of old. You know what I'm saying? And so my kids was like, that would be great for you to cover. So we flew down to California and I went in that hallway and I stood in that line to get in there to watch the Tory Lanez trial. One of the people that were there on a daily basis was Milagro Gramz. I did meet her. She was cool. Like, she was kind to me. And she is a Tory Lanez supporter, as many of you guys know. Yeah, y'all be, and please be respectful in this chat because I already know the thing about this Tory Lanez thing is either y'all so umbrella-ish where you just go hard in the paint on one side, or you so pro Meg that nope, everybody just gets a little bit out of hand. So if you guys could just be respectful in these comments, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And so how it was, honestly, there was some drama and stuff. It was a lot of drama in that hallway, to be honest. So there were so many different bloggers, and you had some people that were just so pro Megan that it was crazy. Then you had some that were so pro Tory that it was crazy. So I remember one chick that was pro Megan, and I mean, she was like, so she came with a sign. She was crying in the hallway. She was cussing everybody out if you said something that was against it. And then you had those that did not really care about what, regardless to what information was provided in the court hearing, they were just gonna be on Tory side. Like, that's just what it was. They were Tory fans. And me, I was just the old lady. Okay. I was just the lady that was like, okay, this might be something to cover. I don't want to just be, worry about people in my era. I want to know what's going on with some of these newer up and coming or whatever rappers and artists. I knew who Meg Thee Stallion was, but that was just because by that time she had done a few songs on maybe some shows or something that I watched, but I wasn't really familiar with the complete body of work. So for those of you that don't know, Meg, this is such a long story. I'm trying to briefly say it. So Tory is an artist, and from my understanding, he blew up during the pandemic with was it pandemic radio or quarantine radio, I think is what it's called. Y'all help me out. And Apparently he dated Kelsey, which was Meg Thee Stallion's best friend at first. And then during the quarantine, him and Meg got tight, and then he ended up being with Meg. But the situation with Meg was supposed to be a secret, I guess. Some people figured it out because they were showing up together on Instagram posts. And you said club quarantine? Okay, okay. And so apparently, so this is how the story goes. Kylie Jenner had a party. She had a pool party. And so Kylie was there. I think at one point, Chris Jenner's man was there, Corey. You had Odell Beckham, I believe, was there. Meg was there. She brought her friend Kelsey. Kelsey, and then they brought their stylist too. EJ was there. And everybody was drinking. They was just drinking because apparently they have Teflon Don livers. Okay, so they was just drinking and drinking and drinking. Get in the pool, and apparently Tory wasn't there yet. Meg calls Tory like, yo, my girl is having a party. You need to pull up. So Tory pulls up. I think he has the driver. He has the bodyguard with him who is the driver. So Tory comes to Kylie's house. Meg's supposed to be drunk. They get in the pool. Well, everybody was drinking because I think Kelsey passed out, and I mean, it was all type of stuff going on. So then they get in the pool. Tory was flirting with Kylie allegedly. Now all of this is just stuff that came out in the trial. Meg gets mad. All this stuff. She gets mad. So then they want her to leave. Blah, blah. Anyway, they all end up in the car. Being Tory, it was some discrepancies on how they all got in the car. But nonetheless, the bodyguard, first Tory asked the bodyguard to take Meg home. But then I guess Tory was like, he ended up going with them as well. So they get into the car. So it's Tory, Kelsey, and Meg, and of course the driver. Allegedly, Tory and Meg was arguing, and then Tory blurts out, allegedly, you ain't never tell her. You never told her. And it's like, what you talking about? And I guess Kelsey, who had messed with Tory before, had been messing with Tory before, didn't know that Meg was messing with him, had started sleeping with him or whatever. So arguing, Tory decides this is the proper place to say it. So then it comes into, so it's all this arguing going back and forth. Somehow they end up stopped behind some man's house with this nice, thick European accent. And he gets out and he sees from the balcony because he nosy. And they're all fighting in some like alleyway, I guess, in the backyard. Tussle breaks out. He said the girls was fighting. Meg said they weren't fighting. The girls, meaning her and Kelsey. And the gun goes off. Meg ends up where they're in. The gun goes off and she ends up getting not shot. I don't think she was shot directly in her foot, but perhaps there were fragments that they were able to pull out of her foot. So they jump in the car, driving. All of them jump in the car, driving. All of a sudden, I guess it's helicopters, it's cops, because of course the guy who witnessed this is called the police. And I guess there was somebody else who called the police as well. So they gone. They just trying to get away. Then they finally pull over. And everybody go to jail pretty much. They all, except for Meg, I think they take her to the hospital. So when this occurs, Kelsey and the bodyguard and Tory, they go to jail. They find a gun on the side of Tory's passenger side. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, because this is a couple of years ago. They find a GUN that was on the passenger side where Tory was sitting, I guess. And then because Meg and Kelsey were in the back, and Kelsey testifies she's sitting in the back, and Meg has her leg that was hurt on top of Kelsey's legs. They go there. Apparently, GSR was swiped or whatever. Some of it did show, I guess, on Kelsey. And I can't remember about Tory. Was it found on Tory? I can't remember if it was in, but it was some GSR on Kelsey. And Kelsey and the bodyguard leave. Tory is charged with this crime. So that is kind of like the simple version. I'm going to look in the chat and make sure I didn't forget anything. Aaliyah said it was inconclusive for Tory. Thank you so much, Aaliyah, because, honey, Belicia said, I still don't believe that was Kelsey. First time finding out they were all on internet, hanging out, drinking, going live together, going to events together. Good point. I don't know. I'm going to take your word for it because I didn't know none of these people. Andrea said the funniest thing of all was finding out Kelsey was texting her real man the entire time in the car. Yes. Okay. This is a good sum. Anasia Ratchet, you said, long story short, in the small confines of the vehicle, no one can tell a similar story in the situation. Yes. Okay. That is a good sum. So it came down to credibility, honestly, because nobody really knew. You know what I'm saying? You had the man that was in the house who said the girls were fighting, but then you had Meg testify that they never fought. Then you had Kelsey gave a whole different story when she talked to the police. And then when she got on the stand, she changed everything and said, I lied. Everything I said to the police, I lied. But when she talked to the police, she had a lawyer on the phone. She had a lawyer there and she had a fiance. We learned that day at the trial that she actually married this guy, that they were married because her husband came and was sitting in the trial. So she testified. It was very painfully long because what happened is because Kelsey was acting like she didn't know anything and she was contradicting everything. So they were using her tape that she had from the interview. They were using that to impeach her every time she would say something or had inconsistent statements. Eventually, what happened is Tory's lawyer, Meg Thee Stallion, got up and there was a comment made where Kelsey said essentially she felt harassed or something like that. And that was the reason why she gave the answers that she did. So Meg Thee Stallion got up and said, did you feel harassed? Who did you feel harassed by? Was it the defense? And she said no. So then that was like, instead of, I guess, ending it there, it ended up going a little bit further where it opened up the door of which it came out that she said she was harassed or coerced or something like that from the police. So that opened up the door where now they can enter in. There was case law where they can enter in the whole tape. So we listened to the whole videotape of her interview with the police. And again, at that time, it had been a few months after the incident happened. It was closer to the incident, obviously. And then you had her husband was there, a couple attorneys, and all of that. So you had to choose the credibility. Was Kelsey lying on the tape, or was Kelsey lying when she got on the stand and said, I lied before? So it became a credibility issue. And so it was a lot of circumstantial evidence, inconclusive evidence. Like I said, what the guy who saw the incident from the house where all the incident happened behind his home, he actually said the small guy or the little guy or the short guy, I can't remember which term he used, he said he had an object in his hand and you saw the spark. So obviously, circumstantially, it sounded like Tory may have had it in his hand. Okay. When Tory's team got up, Tory did not testify. You can tell their theme was that pretty much this was all a setup because of Roc Nation. Because allegedly Roc Nation wanted to sign Tory. Tory said, I'm getting my money good on my own. I don't need Roc Nation. I'm independent. And allegedly Roc Nation got mad. No, he's not in jail. He's in jail for, it's not the actual physical harm. What Tory was convicted of had to do with a gun charge, but then it also has something to do with someone being injured while you were recklessly discharging her. So I can't remember the statute, but it's not like a direct you shot her type charge that he got. It was like a reckless like discharge or negligent discharge of So I can't remember the exact thing, but no, it wasn't like shooting her directly is not what it was, because you didn't have to, the way the statute read, you didn't have to even physically harm them at all. That wasn't even prerequisite. It just is what happened in this case. But anyways, so when that happened, I mean, I said it yesterday. He does not have the burden of proof. It is on the prosecution that has the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt that he is guilty. A jury did find him guilty, but again, to me, his defense didn't really try to poke holes. There were a lot of speculation on Rock Nation, but again, there was nobody from Rock Nation that took the stand. Nobody Rock Nation that even said, "Yeah, we offered him this." So all this stuff was speculation. It wasn't really evidence. So everyone had theories, and a lot of people from Tory's camp, they got theories on what happened, and they may know more than what came out at trial. All I can go on is what the evidence was at trial, and it became a credibility. I think Meg, in my opinion, she did testify well. I think when it came to Kelsey, it was more so of, did you lie then or lie before? And it sounded like she was lying on the stand, in my opinion. When you look at the guy that was the house that it was at, he didn't know these people from a can of paint. So why does he care? So so it was like he doesn't have a reason to lie. So that was kind of like what the main people. Then of course you have forensic people and experts and all of that. Nonetheless, as you guys know, he's found guilty, and I think he was sentenced to like 9 years. So you have a lot of Tory fans that since that time, apparently they still have an opinion that they believe that Kelsey is the one that did it, that Tory is in prison for right now for something he didn't do. Right now, Tory is fighting for release. He has filed a couple of post-conviction hearings, including petitions, including a habeas as well as just a regular appeal. He has Unite the People who represent him, and this was an organization he donated to frequently before all of this stuff happened, and now they're turning around and paying it forward, and they are helping him. But that's that. So Jay Moore said you should read the pre-trial hearing transcript because it tells what really happened. I'm not sure why I would read the pre-trial hearing transcript because I was at the trial. So that's fine. But it's what the jury heard is what is I'm gonna go by at this point. Now, again, like I said, it may have been more evidence, because sometimes what happens is this. You may have evidence that you want to present in trial, and then it's deemed inadmissible. So that means the jury does not get to consider it. That does not mean that evidence doesn't exist out here. It just means that for some reason it's inadmissible under our rules of evidence. So it may be it was hearsay. It may be they couldn't authenticate it. They can't tell whether it's real or it's false. So I get what people say, and I get frustrations of people. Don't think that I do not. But I just know how the system works. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So you have to put in information. The jury can only go by what the information the judge has deemed is admissible for that trial. So you may have a plethora of witnesses, but if they didn't sit in that seat, it does not matter. People say what Tory said, but he didn't testify. So his testimony cannot be considered in this case. That's all I'm saying. I don't negate anybody. I just know how it goes. That's all. And I do agree with y'all. I'm pretty sure if Meg could have took this stuff back, she would have just said, I don't want to go through this at all. But at the end of the day, the state, the people of California decided this was the case that they were going to go forward with. And whether Meg wanted to do this or not, the state has the ability to take the case up anyways. So that, and a lot of that happens because you do have people that are DV victims, and they end up unalive because they love their men so much. So the state has that discretion of which they can go for with or without your blessing. So I'm not saying that's what happened in this case. I'm just saying that this was the people of the state of California versus Tory Lanez. It was not Meg Thee Stallion versus Tory Lanez. It was the people. That's all. So, anyways, during the trial, it was eerie to know because I was so far out of the loop. Apparently there were blog sites made against Meg where they were saying things like he should have like pow-powed you in the head. I mean, it was bad. Like they were putting different clips and stuff up there of what they were saying or whatever. And on the flip side, I don't know if there was a flip side and Tory was going through the same thing. He may have been going through the same thing as well, because I know there were advocates that came up there for domestic violence that were like going hard in the paint. So, but I just know, again, information that was introduced to the jury was literally posts of which Megan Thee Stallion was sitting on that stand and she was like, yes, I've gotten posts. She was crying and everything. I've gotten posts where they told me they wish that he would have done it in my head instead of my foot. I got posts where it says she's the effing liar, and they were putting different posts from social media. So she had been getting a lot of hate and harassment after this occurred because you have these sides. You got one side is pro Meg and one side is Tory. What I will say, for the most part, even when I did talk to Milagro a few times, if I didn't agree with her, that was just what it was. I didn't have those it was like, I think she believed Kelsey's testimony. The video wasn't very impactful that they played it, and in our conversation, I was like, I think it was impactful, and we just had that. That's how most of my experience was with her and other people. Now, again, other people that was in these YouTube streets, they were straight beefing and all of that over it. That was not my experience. So, and actually, like, I've asked her when pleadings come out, like, hey, can you send me that doc? And she sent it to me. So I've never had, and my whole position is I'm neutral on what was presented. I don't really care, one way or another. He was convicted. Like, that's what it is. But okay, so we gonna get into that. Okay. Andrew said academics better expect his own suit soon, or at least if she's going on the lawsuit round, then I don't know. Some people, I guess, was going real hard. I honestly, when the pleadings come out, I do try to go over them for those that care about it, because everybody is interested in the case, but I do have some followers that are interested. So I actually go over it, but I don't get into people getting on station head, and I guess there's beefs on X and beefs on TikTok and all of that. I'm not as in the loop. So if you think you're gonna get that type of info over here, it's not gonna happen because I don't really know. You said these blogs gonna be filing bankruptcy. Well, it's, I don't know. Listen, we're gonna look at the law. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna look at the law and we're gonna see. So anyway, that was my long way around the merry-go-round to get to this lawsuit. So again, one of the people, and honest, like, Tory's family was very nice to everybody. Like his father and his wife and all of that. They were very nice to everybody. But they were conversing, her and he. I don't know the relationship she has with the family, meaning Milagro, but in the hallway, like his dad talked to me. Like, we've had long conversations just sitting in the hallway. They were just very personable people. His father is a minister. So he was talking about the Bible, and everybody was getting saved in that hallway, according, if he could help it. That's kind of like what the conversations was. But apparently, I guess they do have they know each other, obviously, because when he first came in, that was one of the first people that he came to give a hug and all of that too. So I know that got talked about in the blogs about her knowing, the family and all of that. But I don't really know none of these people. I just met them all on the day of trial. But let's get into it, y'all piling in here. I just wanted to give my little long-winded intro. I want you guys to hit that like button for me so we can get into it. Yeah, this lawsuit has a bunch of screenshots as well. So let's get into it, y'all. So this is the Meg and Pete lawsuit. Nature of the action. For years, defendant Cooper acted and continues to act on behalf of Daystar Peterson, also known as Tory Lanez, as an online rumor mill churning out falsehoods about Miss Pete so her tens of thousands of social media followers, or to her tens of thousands of social media followers. Since Mr. Peterson's 2020 indictment for felony assault with a deadly weapon after shooting Miss Pete to his later conviction in December 2022, up through today, defendant Cooper performed Mr. Peterson's public bidding to denigrate, belittle, insult, and spread false statements about Miss Pete on her online social media platforms for no other reason than to bully, harass, and punish Miss Pete for Mr. Peterson's conviction and to tarnish her reputation, causing emotional distress. That was a long arse sentence. Look, it started right here. Wait a minute. Since Mr. Peterson's 2020 indictment for felony assault with a deadly weapon after shooting Miss Pete to his later conviction in December trial, up through today, defendant Cooper performed Mr. Peterson's public bidding to denigrate, belittle, insult, and spread false statements about Miss Pete on her online social media platforms, for no other reason than to bully, harass, and punish Miss Peterson for Mr. Peterson's conviction and to tarnish her reputation, causing emotional distress. That was a long R sentence. I'm sorry. I just write briefs and I'm just like, that sentence is long as hell. Okay. Paragraph 2. The lengths to which defendant Cooper goes to harass Miss Pete knows no bounds. For example, she has gone so far as to share a deep fake pornographic video of Miss Pete. In June 2024, defendant Cooper encouraged her 27,000 ex-followers to view an ex-post of Bimbella that shared a doctored, artificially created video of Miss Pete purportedly engaged in sexual acts without Miss Pete's knowledge or consent. After defendant's conduct led to a firestorm of negative reaction from others, defendant doubled down in a YouTube video on June 9, 2024, claiming Miss Pete was a professional victim and denying any wrongdoing. But defendant is wrong. Her conduct was an unlawful promotion of an altered sexual depiction and caused Miss Pete severe emotional distress and reputational harm. Now, interesting enough, this is not a defamation lawsuit. I don't think defamation is not one of the claims in this lawsuit, for those of you that were wondering. In another instance, on September 2nd, 2024, defendant Cooper accused Miss P of having a severe drinking problem who needs to spend more time in a relationship with herself and her therapist and maybe AA. Defendant has no personal relationship with Miss P and had no basis to make such outlandish and false claims. "504 said, I heard that live. That's not what happened. She discussed it and she said she wasn't reposting it because she didn't even believe it was her." Okay, 504, you might be called as the witness over here in this case on behalf of Milagro Gramz. because she said that is not what happened. Thank you so much, 504, for your investigations. We appreciate it. Okay. Now, what I say, no, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. You can't say you got evidence and information and don't get subpoenaed. You can't do it. Sorry, 504. You didn't put yourself out there. You're going to be on the top of the witness list. Okay. So that was the first thing, saying that she got a drinking issue and that she needed a therapist. Okay. So then the next one said, in yet another instance on July 30th, 2024, defendant Cooper went so far as to cast doubt on Miss Pete's mental status, asking her followers if Miss Pete, quote, has a guardian or no, and whether Miss Pete has, quote, ever been deemed like legally retarded. Defendant's low blows did not stop there. Defendant consistently resorted to name calling Miss Pete, characterizing her as a, quote, angry black woman and a lying arse hoe during her online live stream. Well, I got a couple of people I need to sue. If this what it take, then I got a few people I need to sue, because child, they done dragged me on a couple platforms and I don't even know these people. I'm like, I don't even know y'all. I'm just over here trying to do the law. I know y'all, it's not about me. Let me continue. Additionally, in or about June 29, 2024, defendant tried to pull information on Miss Pete's father in an attempt to publish private information about her family and cause damage to Miss Pete's reputation. Miss Pete has repeatedly tried to stop defendant Cooper's misconduct and asked what it would take to stop being posted on defendant's platform. In response, defendant provided the snide advice that Miss Pete should, quote, just get over it or go away. Why I could hear Milagro say, just get over it. Well, she's just gonna have to get over it. Why I could hear her say that. Oh my goodness. So Side West said, what are they suing for if it's not that? We gonna get to that. We got to do the facts first. See, you guys can't go to the conclusion. We have to get through the whole plate. Make sure y'all hit this like button. Call Me Darling says she may not be a drunk now, but we all saw her spiraling out. I'm glad she's in a better place now. That drinking was causing her to make bad decisions. And I wasn't gonna say that. But there were some videos that kind of gave that implication. We know at the party she was drinking. That don't necessarily make you a drunk. But I do think there were people that were online that would say that they've seen her drink a lot. Because my son said that. So that part was kind of like, I'm just reading along with y'all. You know, I skimmed over it. You know how I do. But I really didn't read like the substance of it. There you go. Almost. Look at my intellect over here. Almost. All right, let's get into it. Defendant Cooper also made numerous false statements about Miss Pete regarding Mr. Peterson and the trial. Defendant's conspiratorial relationship with Mr. Peterson is troubling. Defendant acts as a paid surrogate used to spread Mr. Peterson's lies about Miss Pete. For example, on October 27, 2024, defendant Cooper falsely claimed that the firearm Mr. Peterson used to shoot Miss Pete was not produced during the trial because it was missing. That is not the case. The firearm remains in the custody of the LA Police Department. Defendant Cooper could have easily verified this information, but instead chose to ignore it and spread lies about the integrity of the trial and related investigation. Okay, so what I'm gonna say about that is that was in a document from that, if I'm not mistaken, that was in the Unite the People. I might have been in the habeas that they filed, where they said that the evidence was missing. That was something that was in a document. So, like in a pleading. So you're saying that people should have investigated that? Like, how do you call and say, hey, is there still evidence on file for this case? And you think the police department gonna give it to you? Additionally, defendant Cooper spread the false rumor that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, even after a unanimous jury of Mr. Peterson's peers decided otherwise. So she has the right to her opinion. I mean, regardless of what a jury says. There's some people that feel like OJ is still guilty, even though he was found not guilty. So, I mean, for instance, on October 28, 2024, defendant Cooper posted a video on her ex account directed at Miss P and asked, quote, "Can you even prove that you were shot?" End quote. The state did prove that fact, and Mr. Peterson is currently serving a 10-year sentence for it. In May 2022, defendant posted an image of a Los Angeles Police Department report from Mr. Peterson's arrest, stating that the first doctor to see Miss Pete, quote, confirmed lacerations due to stepping on glass, end quote. Not a firearm wound. There was some information about glass, and I think she said she lied or something about it at first, if I recall correctly on the stand, but it was something that had to do with glass that was alleged. However, the information from the police report was recorded before bullet fragments were discovered in Miss Pete's feet during surgery, which completely debunked defendant's post. That did not stop bloggers from picking up on defendant's post and spreading the information. Okay. Defendant also attended the trial and live streamed her falsehoods during hearings. Defendant posts consistently spread misinformation, challenging the stories of witnesses and their credibility while sharing their names online, amounting to witness intimidation. During the trial, defendant posted the following tweet, talking about credible when we all sitting in here, shut the F up. Another tweet said Kelsey spoke to prosecutors and told them one thing, but today says she lied. That did happen. That was on the stand. Kelsey said she never saw Tory pull a GUN on Megan or shoot her. That is true. That is what she said on the stand. Because I was there. That is what she said. Oh my goodness. Then let's have, so here's another post. All this case taught anyone was that your father, brother, cousin, or son could face over 20 years in prison without proper evidence, a botched investigation, and another likely suspect just because non-credible witnesses said you did something, and y'all slow are cheering. Sounds like her opinion. More recently, after posting about a lawsuit a former videographer filed against Miss Pete in April of 2024 and Miss Pete's motion to dismiss, defendant also falsely claimed that Miss Pete was, quote, caught trying to deceive the courts again, end quote, referencing her testimony in the trial. Enough is enough. Miss Pete is a victim of violent crime and champion of women's rights to her millions of fans worldwide. Will no longer stand for defendant's campaign of harassment. She brings this complaint for damages and equitable relief to end defendant Cooper's vendetta against her. Okay. Thank you, Andrea. I just got your DM. So then they go through the parties. You guys know how it is. They say the jurisdiction here, which probably would be an issue because I think she's from like Texas or something. But they're claiming they have jurisdiction over her, personal jurisdiction over defendant Cooper, pursuant to the Florida's long arm statute, because she committed a torturous acts within the state of Florida and caused Miss Pete to suffer injury in Florida. Additionally, defendant Cooper committed torturous acts outside the state while engaged in solicitation and service activities within the state and caused Miss Pete to suffer injury in Florida. I would challenge jurisdiction personally because she's not from there. I get what they're trying to say, but here are the factual allegations. Defendant is a malicious actor that operates social media accounts that spread false and harassing content. Defendant Cooper is a well-known online social media grifter who traffics in false and sensationalist narratives. Defendant controls and operates an X, formerly Twitter, account under the screen name Mobs Radio, Instagram and TikTok account under the username Milagro Gramz, and a YouTube account under the screen name @Mob Radio, collectively the social media accounts. Defendant has the power to determine the subject matter and specific content that is published on her social media accounts and to remove or refrain from publishing content if she chooses. Defendant is the sole writer and or editor of every post on her social media accounts. I wonder how they know that. On information and belief, defendant Cooper deployed and continues to deploy fake bot accounts on her social media accounts to attack any social media users who defend Miss Pete or criticize defendant's characterizations of Miss Pete's. So let's go to sub B. Defendant engaged in a year-long campaign of harassment against Miss Pete. Throughout Mr. Peterson's trial and through today, defendant Cooper has engaged in a campaign of harassment on behalf of Mr. Peterson to spread false and harassing messages about Miss Pete on her social media accounts based on her close relationship with Mr. Peterson and his father. In June 2024, a deep fake video purporting to show an artificially created version of Miss P engaging in sexually explicit acts circulated on the internet. It is unknown who created the deep fake video. Miss P had no knowledge of or involvement in the creation or distribution of the deep fake video, nor did she consent to or authorize the creation or distribution of the deep fake video. On or about June 8, 2024, defendant Cooper published on her X account a post that encouraged her followers to watch the deepfake video. As reported by news publication Up Rocks or UPROXX, I don't know how to pronounce that, but you guys see the word. Milagro, quote, encouraged users to check the deepfake video out. Numerous individuals followed her advice and accessed the video from. So this according to a published. Wait a minute. Defendant Cooper published on her X account a post that encouraged her followers to watch. It's reported by a news publication. Okay. On June 9, 2024, defendant Cooper published a video on her YouTube account that addressed her X post related to the deep fake video. This must have been what 504 is talking about. "504, where you at? This the video you talking about? Where you said that there was a video and the YouTube post defendant shared. It said on June 9th, defendant Cooper published a video on her YouTube account that addressed her ex post related to the deepfake video. And the YouTube post, defendant shared an image of Miss P over a news chyron that questions whether Miss P is a professional victim. A true and correct copy of the screenshot of the image is below. Defendant then shared a screenshot of an X dated June 8, 2024 that directed her followers to go to my likes. A true and correct copy of the screenshot of the image is below. So she got go to my likes right there. Defendant's likes page included a post that promoted, transmitted, posted, and or shared a publication of the deep fake video and thus provided her followers access to the deep fake video. Defendant Cooper affirmed this in her YouTube post. She stated that she, quote, told whoever follows me on social media to go to my likes to see what it is that we're discussing, end quote, which confirmed that she encouraged her followers to watch the deep fake video. June 8th, 10:34 a.m. Hold on. Defendant Cooper affirmed this in her YouTube post. She stated that she, quote, told whoever follows her to go to her likes. Okay, I just read that. Most recently on October, are y'all following this? What y'all doing? 504. You getting a subpoena. You getting a subpoena because you said she didn't share it and she said she didn't believe it. She is going to need that evidence in defense of this. She's going to need that evidence. You need to do your job as a United States citizen. Okay? One Take Ton said the lawsuit is frivolous and should be tossed out. I'm going to reserve my opinion, but I am a little like right now. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm just a little like what right now. So let's keep reading. Let's go. Most recently, on October 27, 2024, defendant Cooper made the false and outlandish claim that the firearm Mr. Peterson used to shoot Miss Pete had gone missing. Defendant Cooper tweeted, quote, "Did not tell y'all that gun was never presented in court and that ain't make no damn sense. They gave the serial number and breezed past it. Like, first off, whose is it?" Now, okay, what happened in court, they didn't have the physical GUN, even though I said it already on here, so it is what it is. But they had a picture of it. So that is true. They just had a picture of it. So what it looks like here she's doing is she's quoting from the writ of habeas. See, that's what I said. I saw it in the writ of habeas petition. That wasn't directed directly from her. That was her filing, her putting up a court document. Because this is what whoever signed this habeas, this is what they signed their signature to and said that this was the case, that the GUN was missing. And she repeated it from the court document. No. Okay, Apple Bloom. Okay. Okay, so this right here, so y'all saying that this is not she ain't repost what a document said? Because that's a document right there from the habeas. That's where I read it from too. Somebody said so on her birthday. She said this. I don't know. It's her birthday. That's when her birthday is. I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Said it's not frivolous, and that chick is creepy and a stalker. How do you know it's frivolous and you don't even know the counts? I haven't even got to the claims yet. We don't even know what she's suing for. I just know it's not defamation because even the quotes that they said is not considered defamatory, especially when you're a public figure. So those are opinions that she gave. Regardless of whether you hate every last one of the opinions, you think it's bullying and you think it's mean as hell. That's the constitution that we have for freedom of speech. I don't like stuff people have said about me. I mean, but I think you may be absolutely right at the end of the day, but I have absolutely no clue right now because we ain't get down to them counts yet. So let's hold on. She's oh, okay. I got you. Let's go on. Let's move on. Let's move on. 504 said how much to retain your services. I don't recall. Oh, you gonna recall. You don't get on my platform and say you got evidence and information and then move on. Defendant Cooper's statement recklessly disregarded the truth and suggested that the firearm was never presented in court because it had allegedly disappeared. It has not. The firearm remains in the custody of the Los Angeles Police Department. It is standard procedure in California criminal cases to show an image of the firearm in question rather than present the firearm in court. Defendant Cooper could have easily verified this information, but chose to ignore it and instead promulgated lies about the integrity of the trial and related investigation. On October 28, 2024, notwithstanding that a jury of Mr. Peterson's peers found him guilty of shooting Miss Pete in December 2022, defendant Cooper reposted a video of herself where she discussed the trial on her X account. In the video, defendant Cooper asked Miss Pete, "Can you even prove that you were shot?" On October 5th, 2024, defendant Cooper posted on her X account, quote, "Milagro, stop talking about the case. We've moved on. Every time they lie, I'ma make y'all cry." The they defendant Cooper referred to is Miss Pete and her supporters. So apparently they said Milagro stop talking. They've been watching her for a minute. Screenshot, because some of these things are, I know we're in the stories, and stories only last like 24 hours. Defendant Cooper also commented in a follow-up post, and if y'all believe her, why is, quote, who shot Megan, a question that's being posted. Y'all so timid, speak up. Defendant Cooper also reposted an online petition on September 15, 2024, that encouraged her followers to sign a petition to free Mr. Peterson from prison, citing exculpatory evidence when there is none. I mean, so she can't sign a petition. Now, come on, y'all, in this chat. I get it. So y'all don't think she should be able to like sign a petition and pass a petition around if she believes that the man is innocent? Y'all don't think so? Y'all think that's the problem? Huh? Is that what y'all think? That's the problem? Y'all let me know. I just want to know. Joanna. Deb, listen, my husband don't know who Milagro is. He just say he don't know. Milagro do be going hard in the paint now. She very passionate about her stuff, and she does go off on people. Now, I ain't saying she don't do that. I'm just reading this good lawsuit right here. And I'm saying they're basically complaining that she signed a petition and said sign a petition about freeing Tory because she said it's exculpatory evidence. And then I guess Meg attorney is basically saying, and there is none. Just generally. Clutching My Pearl said Milagro and academics created a hate train against Megan with lies almost daily before the trial. Okay, I don't know nothing about before the trial. Okay, I don't know anything about that. But thank you so much for informing us. So you're saying this has been going on for a long time. Paula says she thinks that proof will be provided. Proof of what? Because I haven't even got to the claims yet. What proof? All right, let's move on. I just get y'all thinking, you know what I'm saying? Because I think both sides do the same thing. You like who you like, and you don't like who you don't like. So, regardless to what I say from a legal perspective, you want to believe what you want to believe. That's all I'm just be proving with these comments. So let's go on. Defendant Cooper also reposted an online petition. Okay, I just said that. It said over 100K people have signed a petition requesting that Tory Lanez be released from prison, citing exculpatory evidence. I don't see nothing wrong with that. On September 2nd, 2024, Defendant Cooper reposted a video in which a talk show host stated, quote, Megan allegedly still has a severe drinking problem. From what I've heard, I think she needs to spend more time in a relationship with herself and her therapist and maybe AA. Did she say that or she just reposted? Wait a minute. On September 2nd, Defendant Cooper reposted a video in which a talk show host stated. So this wasn't her that said it. She just reposted it. Defendant Cooper's obsessive post about Miss Pete continued in August 2024 when she posted a tweet asking if, quote, Meg Thee Stallion was caught trying to deceive the courts again. Defendant continued to spew false statements and narratives about Miss Pete. On July 30th, 2024, Defendant Cooper posted a podcast-style video on X in which she states, what is Megan's mental status? Does she have a guardian or not? Has she been listed as a capable person? Has she ever been deemed like legally retarded? Like anything of that nature? Anything of the sort? On December 20th, and that's literally how she talks. Now, that is how she talks. On December 24, 2023, Defendant Cooper posted the following statement on X. Megan wants to know what she has to do to stop being posted on certain outlets, and then says she's going to, quote, Cardi B, y'all hoes. My suggestion would be just to get over it or go away. Cardi won her case because Tasha K handed it to her. Other than that, you're going to get posted. Oh, well. So apparently Megan Thee Stallion said she wants to know what she has to do to stop y'all from posting and said basically I got to do what Cardi B did. it sounds like I have to do what Cardi B did, which is to sue people. And y'all know about Cardi B suing Tasha K and that $4 million judgment. On June 22nd, 2023, ex-user account Holiday K shared audio of defendant Cooper calling Miss P a lying arse hoe and claiming that Miss P, quote, ruined Tory Lanez's life, end quote. Defendant Cooper liked the post. Even defendant Cooper's former friend King Naor exposed her for working alongside Mr. Peterson to smear Miss Pete's reputation. King Naor, I'm probably saying his name wrong, also noted that defendant Cooper has a, quote, disdain for Megan and that she, quote, talks to Tory's daddy, end quote, in an effort to leak information to the press that comes from Mr. Peterson himself. Another example of defendant Cooper's reckless disregard for the truth. They're using a lot of defamation terms, but they're not suing for defamation. Is a May 2022 post on her ex account when defendant Cooper posted an image of Los Angeles Police Department report for Mr. Peterson's arrest, stating that the first doctor to see Miss Pete, quote, confirmed lacerations due to stepping on glass, not a firearm wound. However, the information from the police report was recorded before bullet fragments were discovered at Miss P's feet during surgery, which completely debunked defendant's post. So they're saying she posted a police report which said it was glass, so it was written in there. But then later on, when they actually conducted the surgery, there was a surgeon who did go on took the stand at the trial, who said that he removed fragments out of her foot. So they're saying you posted this even though you know that there was further evidence that it actually, even though this police report speaks for itself and said what it said, they were just wrong because later on it was proven that there were actual fragments. Joanna Lene said the medical records said glass. I'm telling you what the testimony was, okay? Records, unless I don't know if they were entered in, perhaps they were eventually, but what I am saying is, and maybe that was on the intro, so when you go into a doctor's facility, emergency room, whatever, you give your subjective complaints. And perhaps she may have said I stepped on glass or whatever. What I'm saying is the actual doctor got on the stand and said, we removed fragments out of her foot. That's all I'm saying. I'm not really trying to argue. I'm just telling you guys what was learned when I was in that courtroom. And that was subject to cross-examination. When Megan was on the stand, she acknowledged she lied about the glass at first because she didn't want to get Tory in trouble, I guess. Okay. But the fragments were testified to by the actual doctor who performed the surgery. Okay. Let's move on. Yeah, I see what I'm not gonna do is argue with y'all because I was in the courtroom, so I know what was said. So I'm just gonna move on and y'all can argue amongst yourself about whether the physician said what he said or didn't say. Okay. Because honestly, unless there is a whole authentication process, that's why you have the physician testify, because what is written is hearsay. You have to be subject to cross-examination. They rely on their notes to refresh their recollection because obviously they see 50,000 of you a year, and therefore they may not remember you like that. However, they look at their notes to refresh their recollection if they need to on what they did, what the procedures are, and what it says. So when I was in that courtroom, that's what was said. So let's move on. Nonetheless, bloggers and podcasters like DJ Academic, somebody just mentioned his name, presented defendant's post alongside conspiracy theories that Miss Pete was never shot. Y'all think DJ Academics is next? What y'all think? Rather than retract the false story, defendant doubled down to NBC News stating, quote, everything is not going to be something that was intended to be a factual statement. It might have a comedic effect, end quote. Defendant Cooper also doubled down on her falsehoods throughout the trial. Indeed, she traveled from Houston, Texas to LA to attend the court proceedings and live streamed her skewed tape on the criminal proceedings daily to her online followers. Defendant Cooper consistently denigrated witnesses called by the state, including in the below example of defendant's post. We got more posts, y'all. Tweet from December 16th of 2022. Megan said Kelsey rent for her Megan paid, oh gosh, I'm reading like backwards. Megan paid Kelsey rent for a year. If that would have been Tory, that would have been a bride. So in the trial, it did come out that Megan paid Kelsey rent for, because after Megan was injured, she sent Kelsey back to Texas. So Kelsey testified that she moved from Texas to Los Angeles, and she was basically following as her assistant. She was following Meg Thee Stallion as her assistant. So at one point they were in New York at an Airbnb because she was shooting videos or whatnot. So after the shooting occurred, apparently Megan told Kelsey, you can pack your wraps and you need to leave. And Kelsey says she doesn't understand why Meg did her like that. But she said after about 48 hours, Megan told her, you got to go. But because she had rented out or subleased her house in Texas, Kelsey did, she didn't have a place to go. So I guess Meg said, I'll pay your rent for a year. This is all going off of memory though. Okay. So if anybody was there, you can correct me. Okay. All right, let's move on. The next tweet said, guess what? Sean Holly wasn't representing Tory when Kelsey says Tory said, my lawyer said to word things a particular way, just like he was never on probation. These hoes very slow. So what had happened was there was some information that I think when Kelsey was on the stand that allegedly Tory said, this was what, I think this might have came from the video when she talked to the police, that allegedly Tory was offering her to give her money for a business or offer her to do some whatever, basically offering her money, but doing it in a way like you can start a business, you can do this with the money, and said, well, my attorney told me to word it in a certain way. That's according to Kelsey of what Tory said while he was saying it in that way of, do you want to start a business? I can help you with a business, or I can invest in your business. I guess so it doesn't look like he's giving her money. So what she's saying on here, from what I'm understanding, is that Sean Holly wasn't even representing him at that time. So basically Kelsey wasn't being honest when she said that, because Sean Holly wasn't his attorney. And then the probation there was information that he was on probation, but apparently he was not on probation. He actually had a diversion program where in Florida at some point, I guess he got caught with a GUN before, and they did a diversion program, which is basically you complete whatever conditions and they dismiss the charge. So it's as if you really don't have any convictions. Now they do, oftentimes when you get in trouble again, sometimes they can consider those, but for the general public, like if he were to apply for a job, he can check, before this conviction, he could have checked that he didn't have any type of criminal background. And then she said these hoes is very slow. And that's how she talked to. For those of you who don't know who she is. Talking about credible when we all sitting here. Okay. The audio pulled on the heartstrings of all of the people that aren't willing to say, but wait, What about gunshot residue on your hands and the witness statements? So this is directed towards, I told you guys, because the door was open at first, the audio of the interview with Kelsey was not going to be entered into trial as evidence, but because of some wording and some allegations like the prosecution was somehow intimidating and coercing, there is a case that allows them to basically show the jury we didn't do what they're saying we did, so you can see for yourself by listening to the complete audio. So that ended up being admitted. So now she's saying the audio pulled on the heartstrings of all the people, because I said I thought the audio was convincing and I thought that it was more truthful. So now she's saying, but what about the gunshot residue on your hand? So apparently there was some GSR that was found on Kelsey's hand, and the witness statements. I'm not sure what witness statement she's referring to on this, or the fact that she said nothing like this and weren't going to speak until she was told it could be her. So that's a tweet. Next tweet. Okay, we already talked about this one. They talked about that earlier on. So, defendant intended these tweets to intimidate Miss Pete and any witnesses that called on behalf of the state. So, there's a footnote that says a December 23rd, 2022 Los Angeles Times article titled, quote, "A jury believed Megan Thee Stallion is shameful. So many social media influencers didn't." Noted that Milagro Gramz, a Houston-based hip-hop news personality who showed no remorse for pushing the Megan might have stepped on glass theory long after a surgeon had found bullet fragments in her foot, just said the verdict, one of the greatest miscarriages of justice. So they quoted from the LA Times article. For example, on her December 13, 2022 Instagram live session, defendant Cooper called Miss Pete an angry Black woman because she supposedly believed Miss Pete had an attitude during her testimony. Miss Pete had no attitude. Instead, Miss Pete's testimony was extraordinarily difficult for her as she had to recount the traumatizing events that led to the incident. Defendant Cooper continued to spew false statements about Ms. Pete and other witnesses at trial, including in the below example of defendant's post. Milagro said, "Child F Kelsey too, but Megan was dead ass wrong." And then I guess this was the Nicki Minaj post that she responded to. "God bless this woman. In all seriousness, this woman was tormented on the internet relentlessly while pregnant with her first child by her best friend who could have easily told people to stop. The girl's girl, lion, lipo, best friend, friend man, ucker-ish." I don't know. Who was Nicki Minaj talking about? Y'all help me out. Who was pregnant at the time when they were getting harassed? Huh? Help me out over here in this chat now. Y'all hit that like button, please. Cuddy K said she had all of us thinking Tory was winning that case, giving us false information from the courtroom. I think she was giving her perspective. And I think that a lot of people, they look at things the way they want to look at them. That's why I said for me, I covered it, but it just wasn't sensationalized like that. Like I wasn't going on there like bombshell. Megan came in with the so and so. Like I wasn't trying to clickbait. I just was day one of trial. Day two of trial. And that was when I first started doing YouTube. So I guess I ain't know no better either. But that was it. So you could have came over here and you would have got everyday information, because that's all I was given is what was in there. But I will say that people did look at the information differently. They really did. I have no emotional connection to anybody. So mine was looking at the evidence for what it was. If I was the defense attorney, yeah, I would want to look at everything that's more favorable for my client. I think that's just the nature of it all. Prosecutors, they get tunnel vision where all they want to do is get their verdict. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. We'll get to it. We'll get to it, guys. She said, are they suing for slander and emotional distress? We gonna get to it. Okay. We still going, we almost going down. Did anybody tell me who Nicki Minaj was talking about? That was the question. Kelsey, okay. So she was talking about Kelsey was pregnant at the time. So she was tormented on the internet relentlessly while pregnant with her first child by her best friend who could have easily told people to stop. The girl's girl, Lion Lippo, best friend's friend, man, Ucker. Okay. So this was talking about Kelsey. Okay, that makes sense. So this was talking about Kelsey was getting dragged because people were saying that Kelsey was the shooter. And okay, thank you guys so much for helping me out. This is why I love you guys and we have to work together on this. Here's another post. Someone trolled Kelsey and spoke ill of her deceased father, and that's disgusting. So she took it upon herself to find out if what school they went to and called them. This the same one that claims she did Megan's homework, right? Child, shouldn't she have reported her damn self? Defendant's disparaging remarks had and continue to have a negative effect on plaintiff's mental and emotional state. Defendant's conduct caused and continues to cause significant personal and economic harm to Ms. Pete. It injured her reputation and standing as a professional musician. It caused severe mental and emotional harm. It caused economic harm in plaintiff's efforts to remove the various bots defendant enlists to attach plaintiff supporters. In some, plaintiff's damages exceed $75,000 because you have to list a jurisdictional amount when you're in federal court. It has to at least be $75,000. So that doesn't mean that you're asking for only 75. It can be more, but you have to at least let the court know that your damages are more than 75,000. Exclusive of interest and costs in an amount to be determined at trial. Now we're going to get into the counts. Okay, guys? You guys, hold on. Promotion of an altered actual depiction. Okay. Pam, what does that entail? Let's see. This is a statute in Florida. I don't practice in Florida. I practice in Michigan. But I will tell you what you have to prove, the elements you have to prove for promotion of an altered actual depiction under section 83613. The state would have to establish under the criminal. I'm going by jury instructions typically. When it's a criminal situation, that the defendant willfully and maliciously promoted an altered actual depiction of an identifiable person. The defendant did so without the consent of the identifiable persons depicted, and at the time the defendant knew or reasonably should have known the depiction was altered or an actual depiction. That's why I'm saying, and that is just the criminal, I look at the jury instructions when because that's the easiest way for me to look at to figure out what the heck they talking about. So it has Miss P is an identifiable person as defined under the statute. Miss P is a performance artist who is recognizable as an actual person by her face, likeness, and or other distinguishable characteristics. The deepfake video is an altered actual depiction as defined under the statute. It is a digital, electronic, mechanical, and or other modification, alteration, and adaptation that depicts a realistic version of Miss Pete with a computer-generated nude body parts presented as the nude body parts of Miss Pete engage in actual conduct as defined in section 847.001 Florida statute, in which Miss Pete did not engage or participate. Defendant Cooper promoted the deepfake video by transmitting, transmuting, publishing, distributing, circulating, disseminating, presenting, exhibiting, sending, posting, sharing, and or advertising on her X account. Defendant liked an account promoting the deepfake video, which saved the like on her X account. Defendant then encouraged her followers to go to my likes where they could access the deepfake video via her like tweet. Defendant Cooper willfully and maliciously promoted the deepfake video without Miss Pete's consent. Defendant Cooper knew or reasonably should have known that the deepfake video was an altered actual depiction. As a result of defendant Cooper's misconduct, Miss Pete has been injured in an amount to be proven, including reputational damage and emotional injuries. As Peter is entitled to Pete is required. entitled to recover monetary damages to include $10,000 or actual damages incurred as a result of a violation of subsection 2, whichever is greater, as well as an award of Miss Pete's reasonable attorney fees and costs and a permanent injunction barring defendant Cooper from any future use or publication of intimate visual depictions of her. So as you guys see what the elements are that I just said, what the jury instructions read, and based on what they are alleging, do you guys think that she is liable for count 1, which is promotion of an altered sexual depiction? So Kamani 352, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate your support. You said this is a lie. She never showed that AI or repost Meg lying her arse off. Desiree and Rock Nation working overtime. Hell, TMZ actually had the video though. Okay, thank you for the super chat. Joanne Lenane said no, go after who posted the video. SW said, I'm sorry, liking a tweet is a weak count to sue. What about whoever created the account? I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Said, nah, Ack is not next. You don't think so? That you must be behind. Okay. Okay. Honey Child said, Millie said it wasn't Megan in that video. Millie gonna need all your affidavits, so make sure you reach out. She gonna need them affidavits in support of her motion that she may file when she gets served. Okay, Elite Leo said, but I know I found out about the video from seeing Milagro's tweet. Okay, Out the Bushes said this is a waste of time. Chrissy, oh Lord, Deb. Let's you trying to cause chaos in this chat. Chrissy said doesn't like in the tweet show that she agrees, so it's being promoted. Do you look and see who everybody liked their stuff? Or even what if people like something on accident? Does that mean I promote what they did? You know what I'm saying? I think that's a bit that's taking it too far. It's too many times you scrolling and I like stuff, and sometimes I unlike it, and sometimes I just keep it moving. And I haven't even read the crap. So I'm not saying this is what she did in the situation. I'm just saying just the like to me just seems too minute, and you can do that on accident. But then also, just because you like it, that means I'm going around trying to see who my friends and what they liked. I don't know what posts my friends like and don't like. Now there are some that say so and so like this page or something, but I don't know. That seems a bit of a stretch. Destined for Greatness said the lawsuit seems like a front for something else, like Meg just doesn't like Millie and was looking for a reason to sue. Okay. Tell her much better today. Don't start nothing. Okay, so I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Say isn't telling others to go download something promotion. Could be. That's a good point. LaShonda said that's the whole point of publishing. Like, listen, if they start getting to the likes, then I ain't liking nothing never again in my life. If that becomes part of a lawsuit, you ain't got to worry about me. They'd be like, she don't never like. I don't want to see no post of the people that's like, I'm going to go and I'm going to, especially on Facebook, they're always going to delete you and clean out their list because there's some of you guys that never like my post. Some of you guys never comment. So I'm going to make room for people that actually engage. Now, I'm gonna be like, engagement might land me a lawsuit. I'm not engaging, not nothing on no day, no more. Okay. So that's it. And y'all can thank this lawsuit for that. Don't talk about Pam don't like nothing. But I do want you guys to like this video, okay? I'm trying to get in the algorithm. You don't have to, subscribe to my opinions. I just need you to like this video. They are setting horrible precedents saying folks should not like stuff, or that means you become a part of it. So all y'all liking these videos on YouTube, y'all might be hit based on what you guys are saying in this comment.
And another thing you notice, the first thing they say, make sure you guys hit that like and the subscribe button. That's what it's all about. After they get them dogging you out, before they dog you out, that's the first thing they say. If you like this video, make sure you hit.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Y'all got me nervous. I need y'all to like my video, so don't listen to that, okay? Like my video. Look, April be like, please hit that like button. Thank you. This is a slippery slope, Your Honor, to say that people hitting the like button will end up being accused or can result in a lawsuit is going to affect our algorithm and our AdSense check over here on YouTube. Please do not make this precedent, Your Honor. This is a slippery slope. We don't want this. Judge, no. Mrs. Dreamick said, I understand you all don't like her, but it says dangerous precedent if we accept liability for likes. I'm going to be with Mrs. Dreamick. I like the way you think it right now. I like the way you think it. That's all I'm saying. Stacy said no lawsuits here. Hit the like button. I'm telling y'all to like all through the video. Got little videos to tell y'all to like it. Y'all sitting up here like, that means that you subscribe to it and you agree with everything that they said. So you're just as liable. Oh, hell no. That's not what that means. That means I need you to like this video so that other people can see that I'm on so I can grow my channel. You know? That's what that means. Sheesh. Let's go on. Count 2 is cyber stalking, injunctive relief under section 784.0485. To prove cyber stalking for injunctive relief, the Florida statute, the elements are required are the defendant engaged in a course of conduct to communicate or cause to be communicated words, images, or language by or through the use of electronic mail or electronic communication. The second element is the communication was directed at a specific person. The third element is the communication caused substantial emotional distress to that person. And prong 4 is the communication served no legitimate purpose. That is what it says under in re standard jury instructions for cyber stalking. Again, this is the criminal aspect that I'm looking at. Let's see what they have to say over here. Now, keep those in mind as we go through what the allegation is. Again, these are all allegations. She is considered, this is the case of which has to be proven. There is no liability here. This is not a guilt or innocence situation because this is not criminal. This is civil. However, right now, these are all just allegations, and that's what they are, and they have to be proven. Miss P is the victim of cyber stalking by defendant Cooper because Cooper engaged in a course of conduct to communicate or to cause to be communicated images by and through the use of electronic mail directed at Miss P, which caused substantial emotional distress to Miss P and served no legitimate purpose. Cyber stalking is a form of wrongful conduct, not speech, which is prohibited by section 784.0485 Florida statute. Cyber stalking is a form of harassment that can be enjoined under section 784.0485 Florida statute, as well as under common law, which provides for the entry of injunctions to prevent harassment. Justice, reason, and common sense justify the entry of an injunction for the cyber stalking of Ms. Pete has experienced in this case. Ms. Pete has a clear legal right to the entry of an injunction. Ms. Pete will suffer irreparable harm if an injunction is not issued, for which there is no adequate remedy at law. Ms. Pete has a substantial likelihood of success on the merits of her claim. The threatened injury to Ms. Pete as a result of defendant Cooper's continued misconduct outweighs any possible harm that will result from the entry of an injunction. The consideration of the public interest support the entry of an injunction, and Ms. Pete has not made any previous attempt to obtain an injunction for protection against defendant Cooper in this or any other court. See, I get where they're going with this, but I just wonder how, and I'm just thinking out loud, how do you get past that? You're really asking for a prior restraint where you're trying to stop free speech. You're saying it's conduct, but yet in theory, you're really trying to stop the speech, because all of this stuff is being done on the internet. All of this stuff is being done on videos. All of this stuff is basically word of mouth. So how do you separate the fact that you're trying to ask for an injunction to prevent her from doing what? Talking about her, which really is a constitutional violation. So I'll be interested to see how this one, plays out for this particular claim, or how they figure they're going to do this. It's very interesting. That'll be very interesting. I don't know who you're talking about, Verde Lane, because I'm a real lawyer, so you better Google me. And that's all I'm going to say about that. 504 said Megan is just mad because Glorilla sold more albums. 504, don't start no violence up in my chat, okay? Don't do that. Ashley Ratchet said, I think the things Milagro has said is vile and unnecessary. I think this lawsuit is not connecting to the law in a way that if I was a jury member, I would be persuaded. And that's fair. You cannot like how somebody is, what they say, their presentation. I think her presentation is rough as hell. I do. But she has an audience that likes her presentation and they talk just like it. You know what I'm saying? So as for me, that's me. But when I look in general for just freedom of speech as well, because we cannot like someone and still know that from a legality standpoint, you don't want to start creating bad law. That's all. We just have to be able to weigh the difference. So sweet Dr. 3 a.m. 24/7 said Tory is a liar, plain and simple. He paid for Kelsey's lawyer and doctor bills, to which she sat in the stand and said she didn't know who paid for her lawyer. Milagro was flued out by the family. Well, I don't know. This is from Sweet Dr. 3 a.m. Z 24/7. This is not Pam. I'm just reading the comment. Thank you so much for commenting. I appreciate that. No, that is not true. The woman he chose said, didn't Cardi B win this argument in her case against Tasha K? Tasha K can't talk about her anymore, right? No, that's not true. Tasha K still talks about Cardi B if there's something to talk about. She cannot say those words that were considered defamatory by a jury of her peers again. She can't do that. She had to take those videos down, and she can't make those comments again, from my understanding. But no. But yeah. Queen Liquid, you said HBO paid Millie to come through because her extensive review of the case. When I was at the court, there were 2 or 3 different, they were going to do documentaries, because one of them came on, was it Hulu, that I had clips on? So some of them they would sit down and interview you on, but I know Milagro and Armand Wiggins was there as well, and they were on separate parts. They were good friends at that time. I don't know if they are now. I heard they were beefing, but Armand, it was like he was pro Megan I believe, and then it was Milagro was on the other end. So they actually did sit downs and stuff together as well, arguing their sides, and they did the HBO. But there were a lot of people that were outside from different news outlets or media groups or news stations. And even I had like Fox Soul and a couple of other spots, Revolt, because I was there. They did reach out to me knowing I was a lawyer, and I gave a little bit of commentary, but I just wasn't as exciting and salacious as everyone else because I didn't know anybody, so I had no emotional connection. That's all. But oh, if you weren't talking to me, Verde Lane, I wasn't trying to be. I just, I just glanced at the chat. So if you was talking about other people in the comments and not me, then I apologize. But I do get that a lot where people are like, you a social media lawyer. I just got off of hearing, okay, to jump on here and talk about this. So no, I actually do practice and I work very hard for my credentials. So I don't let people belittle it. So when people seem like they are, then I do address that in my chat. So if you weren't talking to me, then I apologize. That's it. Okay. Clutching my pearls say, I don't understand. I don't know if MTS will win, but I understand her frustration with the hate constantly. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it is frustrating and emotionally traumatizing. So Megan's documentary airs on Prime tomorrow. So y'all think this is something to help promote her documentary? Is that what you're saying? Good vibes only? Think it's kind of helping to promote her documentary? Okay, I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Said, let's just be real. Chick was not always truthful when it came to Megan the trial. Some can't even see that. That lady lied to her followers. I didn't watch her followers. What I am going on right now, just so you can be clear, because I'm not going to argue one way or another, because I don't know. And I don't want to bring information I have no clue on. But what I'm saying is what they are alleging in this document, such as her reposting something from a habeas petition, to me is not a legit reason to say you're spreading false information, because that's not false information if it's actually in a pleading. It may be false information ultimately where they're saying it's at the LAPD and they can prove it, okay. But what I'm saying is she's actually going off of a court pleading is all that I'm saying. So I'm going by what they're saying in this document, which is the basis, the factual basis for their lawsuit. That's all I'm going through. So that's that. And then the same thing with the police report. I mean, the police report was like, said something about glass that she put on there. So they're not saying she didn't do it. And then a lot of the videos of the real negative things, like the video, it sounds like she isn't even the one that produced it, but perhaps they're saying she promoted it. All right, let's move on. This is count 3, which is intentional infliction of emotional distress. Defendant Cooper intentionally or recklessly inflicted emotional distress upon Miss Pete when she knew or should have known that emotional distress would result by making social media posts related to the deepfake video and the statement described above. Defendant Cooper's conduct was outrageous as to go beyond all bounds of decency and to be regarded and odious and utterly intolerable in a civilized community. The revilement Defendant Cooper inflicted upon Miss Pete is explicit and egregious. Defendant Cooper conduct has caused and will continue to cause severe emotional distress, shame, humiliation, and embarrassment to Miss Pete. As a direct and proximate cause, Miss Pete is entitled to recover damages from Defendant Cooper in an appropriate amount to be determined by the trier of fact. So this is intentional infliction of emotional distress. Usually you do negligent infliction as well, but I don't know if they have that in Florida. Intentional infliction of emotional distress is a very, very, very hard claim to prove, because that's why they use it. Has to be, the conduct has to be so outrageous as to go beyond a bounds of decency and to be regarded as odious. And this is why they put in the deep fake video, because they have to try to prove it was just so outrageous. Not just name calling, not just saying you're a liar, we don't believe you. It has to be like you're like, oh my God, this just shouldn't even happen in a civilized society type deal. So that's a difficult claim to prove. Then we have count 4 is invasion of privacy and false light. Defendant Cooper acted knowingly and or in recklessly disregard. Let me read that over, child. Defendant Cooper acted knowingly and or in reckless disregard as to the falsity of the deepfake video and the false light the deepfake video would place Miss Pete. The actions by Defendant Cooper are highly offensive and objectionable and would outrage or cause mental suffering, shame, humiliation, or hurt feeling to a person of ordinary sensibility. Defendant Cooper's conduct was outrageous as to go beyond all bounds of decency and to be regarded as odious and utterly intolerable in a civilized community. Defendant Cooper's conduct caused emotional distress, humiliation, shame, and embarrassment to Miss Pete. As a direct and proximate result, Miss Pete is entitled to recover damages from Defendant Cooper in an appropriate amount to be determined by the trier of fact. So there's also a jury demand. So they want to have a jury of their peers to try this case. And as you guys see, that is the last of the claims. So there is no defamation claim in here. Prayer for relief, wherefore Ms. P respectfully requests that this court enter judgment in an amount for all damages owed to Ms. P, including but not limited to compensatory damages, punitive damages, statutory damages, attorney fees, cost, interest, and all other damages as are just proper, as well as debt judgment to remedy defendant's unlawful behavior. Now, what I am interested to know is if somehow recently they do invasion of privacy again. Maybe it's allowed again, but before the cases that I had read before said that they don't, Florida doesn't. Let me see. Let me look up something real quick. I thought Florida did not recognize a cause of action for false light and invasion of privacy. But maybe they do now. Again, I don't practice there, but let me see. Here's a case. Jews for Jesus, Inc. This is in the Supreme Court of Florida versus Edith Rapp. And it held that Florida recognizes a cause of action for defamation by implication. Florida does not recognize a cause of action for false light invasion of privacy. So unless it's changed, this was the Supreme Court. Unless it's changed, doesn't look like they even. And this was a 2008 case, so heck, the law could have changed since then. I didn't do any extensive research. I just literally Googled that in there. In my research mechanism over on Westlaw just to see, and it doesn't look like, so that might not even be a claim that they have anyway. A Sunshine said, "Hey Pam, I'm so late, but we'll go back. YouTube is not sending me notifications. I'm surprised but thankful you are addressing this topic. I saw the lawsuit but needed clarity on what was really being said." We just went through it very thoroughly. So what do you guys think now that you guys are the social media jurors? So before we get off of here, I want to know, since you guys have all the information, you have what is being claimed in the lawsuit. Perhaps, I don't know if they'll end up amending, adding more. I don't know what it is, but based on the information I gave you and what the jury instructions are and what has to be proven, what is your final analysis right now? Your initial analysis, I guess I should say, because we don't really know Milagro's defense right now. We don't know if they're going to amend the complaint and add more to it as well. And we don't know what evidence they have. But your initial reaction to this complaint based on how we have thoroughly discussed it and the law that we went over. What do you guys think? Is Teresa said it's BS? Honey Child Craft said Millie's innocent. Well, this isn't about innocent or guilt, but you can say she's not liable. Destined for Greatness says seems like a publicity stunt. Okay. All righty. Joanna said Millie is doing her job. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Marie. 504. Well, it was about 3 other people in here. So 504, because you seem like you will be a reluctant witness, then perhaps they need to go with the other few people that say that Millie did not do what they said that she did. So you may be excused. Okay, 504. You don't have to hide anymore. You may be excused. My husband said, I think everybody needs a better relationship with baby Jesus. Okay, I agree. That is the best comment of the day. Oh gosh, she said they ain't got no case. Free Millie. Oh, y'all moving too fast. Okay, she said, I'm happy Meg finally suing this lady. She has lied several times. She is visibly angry and hateful. Okay, that wasn't my question. I was asking you about the actual lawsuit and what you think. Okay, what you think about the success or non-success of this lawsuit. Millie and Act did not fall out. Who said they fell out? I said Armand. I was talking about Armand. If you're talking about my comment. Tina said we still. Well, I'm going to watch the documentary, okay? And I'll just tell you guys what happened then. The woman he chose said, I feel bad for Meg. No one seems to like her. Okay. Okay. I just think her team is suing Millie because they don't like that her opinion isn't aligned with hers and they want to silence her because if she was reporting favorable things for Megan, she wouldn't sue. Okay, y'all think this is a promotional publicity stunt. Got it. I can't wait to see how the lawyers argue the law. Me too. I want to see the response. I predict once she is served, her lawyers are going to respond to try to dismiss the case. That's my prediction. Now, at least a couple of the claims. Now, one of them, perhaps, like about that video, she needs to attach evidence and all of that. If she didn't promote it, if she did acknowledge that it wasn't real and she didn't think it was real or whatever that some of you guys are saying was said, then that's going to be an evidentiary issue. And so you can't do that as your initial pleading. You have to do, well, I wonder how, because they put all this information in these hyperlinks in here. She may be able to actually still respond to that using her own using evidence, because they put evidence in theirs that she might be able to use. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, you said. She said it was fake and has that recorded. All right, Millie. I agree. Okay, we'll be back. We'll see what happens. I think she has evidence that we don't know about. All righty. All right. I wanted to see if I had any DMs. Now, Millie did post. Okay, let's see what she's been posting. Let's see what she has on here. Before we get off here, let me go over to the Instagram. I did ask if she had anything to say. She didn't say anything. So, I give everybody their just time if they have any statements. I don't know, Meg. I could ask Meg, but she probably, ignore the hell out of me. But Meg, if you got something to say, you can too. Okay, let me see. So she got, let me see, let me go back. These her stories right now. So she obviously knows she's been sued because the Jasmine brand has talked about it. Spiritual World has talked about it. Okay, let me see what the first one said. She said, I've been informed that I'm being sued by Alex Spiro on behalf of his client, Meg. Dang, that mug moved fast in the mud. So, yeah, she's aware. So, Nothing to see there. Georgia Pete said, well, the masses didn't think that Cardi's case was valid and T-Cat kept fueling the fire. It may not be as many lies, but there are enough for her lawyers to file the case, I think. All right, Georgia Pete. Thank you so much, April B, for the super sticker. I appreciate that. You don't think she'll ignore me? Lisa, I never catch you on live. Glad to be here, though I'm at work. I don't get your notifications. You might have to like unsubscribe, subscribe again, and make sure you subscribe to all. So then you'll get all my notifications, including when I post on my wall and all of that. Because a lot of people say they don't get my notifications. That's why I try to post it on Instagram. I'll put it in my story so people will know. But I do have a lot of people that complain about not getting my notifications. But old man Johnson's Farm said Milagro is very transparent. I listen to her daily. All righty. Oh wow, I don't know either. Maybe YouTube's not feeling me like that. Yeah, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. We're gonna stay up on it. You guys aren't going to get this thorough breakdown anywhere but here. Okay. So if I get any more updates or any word from Milagro or even Meg Thee Stallion or heck, anybody that is connected to this case, we will be back live. But until then, you guys keep enjoying your day. And I'm going to holler at you guys next time. Hit that like button. Don't be nervous about hitting that like now because of this lawsuit.